Yes, sir, we promised you a great
Gorgeous George,
Very classy, the maker of champions.
Andre, the giant. WrestleMania.
Everyone has a price.
ladies and gentlemen, it is electric.
The champ is here.
Yo, what's good, guys? It's your boy Monday Night Heel, back at it with another YouTube video, man. Hey, and today's video, man, it's not going to be a long video. It's definitely going to be a little rant video, but it's not going to be a long video at all. So without further ado, what do you guys want to talk about? Let me tell you what I want to talk about. So today, I seen the Stephanie McMahon. What do you want to talk about? No, wrong person. What's your story? And so many podcasts. I don't even know. But yeah, she had Oba Femi on the podcast, and I watched about 20 minutes of this, and it's an hour's worth of content. And if you guys want to check that out, go check it out, obviously. But I watched it so you guys don't have to. And yeah, let me get into it. So honestly, what I could dissect from this podcast is you really get a little bit of the insight, what you do with a lot of the wrestlers that come on here and on these podcasts. You get a little insight on the backstory of them and, their upbringing. And Oba talks about, growing up in Nigeria and having strict parents, and that's just part of the culture. And, it pretty much made him who he is now today with the discipline he has on himself. But a part that I got from this that made me kind of scratch my head, put my hands up in the air, hit one of these, is Oba talks about, Stephanie brings up the Unreal documentary that's on Netflix, and how it kind of blurs the lines between, the kayfabe and, what's really going on in the business. And so basically, she talks about it and it's like, yeah, it's a pretty much a hot button. And then Oba, she refers the question to Oba and asks him, how does he feel about it? And Oba says, I honestly don't like it, but one thing that I learned is you can't get lost in the times, meaning, stuff is changing and, the business is evolving. And so you don't want to get left behind. So he proceeds to say, just like that 6'7" meme, I used to think it was stupid, but you can't get lost in the times. So it doesn't make me mad anymore. And I literally sat there and scratched my head and it's like, oh, but what are we talking about right now? You're about to fight Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, in one of the biggest WrestleManias. First of all, let me take that back. It's not the biggest WrestleMania. This WrestleMania is actually going to be garbage. But in your career, one of the biggest matches, in your career, and you're on a podcast with Triple H's wife talking about some 6'7". What? Like, what are we doing right now? You need to be in the gym focused. You need to be locked in. You're over here talking about some 6'7", throwing your hands up. What are we doing, Oba? You over here worried about 6'7". Brock Lesnar's finna 6'7" suplex city you. You finna get 67 suplex cities. And that's what you need to be worrying about over here. But I digress. You guys want to check out the rest of the podcast. That's pretty much the meat and potatoes of what that was. And so we move on. So yeah, let's get into some of y'all threads. So shout out to Third Gen WW, and he says these open challenges are actually killing the prestige of both belts. They're like the Oprah of champions. You get a shot. You get a shot. You all get a shot. What happened to building a storyline behind the challenger? Okay, so let's talk about the Carmelo Hayes situation first before we get into Penta. So, obviously when John Cena left the open challenge during his little run with the belt, it meant something. It meant bringing the next generation, or, the next superstars up to the main roster, or potentially people that are, underutilized, getting that opportunity to shine, on a stage where they don't even get that platform to do it. Now, from John Cena with these open challenges to Sami Zayn, who I felt like had a really solid, like if we're doing out of 10, like maybe a 5 out of 10 solid run with the United States championship open challenge, to now Carmelo Hayes, who I had so much faith in being able to continue to carry on that legacy. But now, honestly, the open challenge doesn't feel special anymore. And I don't know where that magic or where that spark of it has like dissipated, because you see from, let's go to like 7 months ago, not even 7 months ago, let's do like 4 or 5 months ago, right? Where when Carmelo Hayes first won the belt, and or before, when he was challenging for the belt, he was chasing for the belt. It felt really special. The United States scene felt special. You had a bunch of guys. You had Melo, you had Sammy, of course, you had Solo. You had a lot of these different guys that was competing, trying to challenge for it. And as soon as Melo won the belt, it's really just been Melo versus Ilya. Like it's been the same constant. Like if it's not Ilya, then it's a Johnny Gargano. Which again, I'm not mad at the fact that he's getting these opportunities. Shout out to Johnny, but there's a lot of people that could be called up. Like imagine that Ethan Page gets called up, right? Like come on now that's like must see. Imagine a Ricky Saints gets called up. Come on, like why am I able to book this? What are we doing? Triple H, Shawn Michaels would have done this. If this was on NXT, Shawn Michaels would have easily done this without second hesitation. He would have even called in some people from TNA, maybe a Moose, maybe a Leon Slater. Like what are we doing with the booking? It all comes down to the booking. But yeah, that's just it's been the same recycled 3 superstars fighting for the United States Championship, and now it's not even as special as let's guess who's going. We don't know who's going to come out. I remember before Oba debuted, I used to always think, okay, it might be Oba, but this is not about Oba for now. It's just now they're not even making it where you just have the aspect of waiting to see who comes through the curtain. Now they're booking these open challenges. What makes it an open challenge if you're booking it? If you're telling us it's going to be Johnny Gargano versus Carmelo Hayes, open how's that open? How is that open? But yeah, no, that honestly makes that's one of my peeves with SmackDown is their booking is hideous. It's terrible. But yeah, let's move on to Penta. Now I don't know if they're starting this open challenge. I mean, he's done it last Monday, on Raw, because Dom can't. He's not clear. Well, actually, first of all, this has nothing to do with Dom, but I think Dom was supposed to fight for the belt back again. But yeah, I don't know who's in that intercontinental scene. I think for sure, definitely Dom, 100%. You can throw maybe Javon in there, who I think has a high chance of potentially winning that. Obviously we've seen amazing bout between Dragon Lee and Penta, so that I'm gonna give that's a 5-star match right there. But yeah, I mean they keep the contendership as like 3 people, so I don't know, but I think the open challenge in itself is a thing that Triple H is pretty much buried and sunken underground. It's deplorable and it's terrible. So open challenges should be something that's scrapped. And shout out to King VC. We got some women's wrestling news right here, and he says Jade Cargill has revealed that she wants to wrestle more as the world champion, and she's pointed out how all the stars are currently in the tag division. I want to wrestle. When you become champion, you want to defend your title as much as possible. We have a stellar locker room, but they're all tied up in the tag division, making that strong. I get it, but I want to wrestle. I want to have matches with Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, etc., etc. Now, Jade Cargill is somebody who, coming into wrestling, you would say you would just already off the bat, she has that look. She has that it factor. Now, that's off of just aspect of looks. Now, yes, granted, things where she can improve on is promos, maybe some more in-ring ability. But again, I'm not one to be speaking because I am a person behind the camera talking. I am not a wrestler. I'm not a professional in the ring, so I cannot do those things that they can do. So, again, this is just from a person who's watched wrestling his entire life. Aspects of giving, of better promos and, better in-ring performances. But she can't get those reps unless she's fighting against the best. What do they say? iron sharpens iron, right? Jade Cargill can't get better fighting Meecham and BFAB because she's levels above them. Now, again, I agree with that statement. If she really does want to get better, why? It's just so convenient, when you think about, again, it comes back to the booking. As soon as we get these new champions, and this I'm speaking for SmackDown and Raw, when Jade Cargill beat Tiffany to win the belt, or this is even going back to Tiffany because Tiffany had this somewhat same issue when she was champion. But speaking current, when Jade got the belt, and when Stephanie Valkyrie got the belt, everybody was already tied up in the divisions, the tag divisions, to make it strong. And so a lot of the big hitters, your Charlotte Flairs, your Rhea Ripleys, your Io Skys, even this is my girl. Y'all might not like her, but that's my girl. Your Nia Jax has been put into the tag division to elevate that scene, and thus put, for on SmackDown side, you have Jade fighting the inner circle of Meecham and BFAB every single week, and on Stephanie's side, Stephanie does have some. She has good people over there to feud with, but it just doesn't seem. And I'm one for an underdog story, but honestly, if you're asking me, you're like, Monday Night Heel, who do you think? I think big mama, what's her big sexy mama? What's her name? Raquel Rodriguez. I think Big Mommy Cool. Thank you. I think Big Mommy Cool really should have been the champion. I think she should have. I can definitely see her at least sometime maybe going to WrestleMania or at WrestleMania, turning and or interfering in the match somehow, and or maybe even after WrestleMania, the Monday night after the Raw after WrestleMania, fighting for that belt. But honestly, she just has it right now. She's honestly had a breakout year. 2026 is the year of Raquel, and a lot of you might agree, a lot of you might not agree. It's my opinion, and I think she definitely deserves at least a chance to see how she runs with the belt. But yeah, no. As far as Raw side of it, it's definitely some challengers. Obviously, Liv is fighting for it, but who would I throw? I mean, Bayley. I don't really see it. I more see her more in the intercontinental scene. I'll throw in Roxanne. Like I would love to see a new face challenging, up there against Stephanie, and they had some NXT, a little bit of NXT history, so it's there. And definitely move some people over from SmackDown or call up some people from NXT. Maybe we might potentially see, maybe a Sol Ruka or a Zarya, maybe, enter the scene a little bit. And I think that'll be pretty dope. But, that's as far as, Raw and SmackDown goes. But I know I'm a little off topic. And again, this is a rant. But back to Jade, I definitely think that she's right on that. With the right booking, which now we're getting her against Rhea. And honestly, if I'm gonna book that ahead, I got them giving it to Rhea because that's Triple H's goating girl. And so if you're not Rhea or Cody Rhodes, good luck, but yeah, no, iron sharpens iron. And so you want to get better, you got to go against the best. And that's the only way to prove it. I actually also saw this post too. It said before WrestleMania, you see Jay Cargill as a champ, Punk as the champ, Stephanie, and then Cody, Raheem Rose as a champ. And then it says underneath it, after WrestleMania. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you think this is the possibility for after WrestleMania? Will we get this legendary picture after WrestleMania? Let me know in the comments below as well. And then we also find ourselves with a little bit of thread war, a little Twitter war, I guess. So apparently between the Young OG and Ricochet of AEW. So basically, Ricochet says to Javon that, basically, when you were 12 years old, I was learning from Shawn Michaels in the Performance Center, honing my crafts and collecting championships. Let me know when you get a championship, little boy. And then, the Young OG proceeds to respond and let Ricochet know that He said, "You learned from HBK when I was 12 and became a multi-time champion. Now you wrestling in front of 2,000 people every week for a crackhead. Talk about an upgrade, am I right?" Dang, laughing emoji. So like, Javon, what do you mean crackhead? I don't want to. We're not gonna go too much into it. I'm not gonna assume, but I'm gonna assume maybe Javon will clarify. Oh, actually, he does. He says, sounds like Mr. Khan isn't giving you enough attention, so you had to come for a successful youngin. 100%, you giving me the most views on my post, and I'm finally helping you get the most attention you ever had in your career. All love. Dang. So yeah, I mean, it's some little shots thrown across the borders of AEW and WWE right now from the young OG and Ricochet. Which, if we not even talking beef wise right now, we just talking about straight athleticism, straight match, and having them on NXT in like the black and gold days. Ooh, that would have been a classic. I promise you. But yeah. So it's a bunch of things going on right now in the AEW WWE locker room between them two. But again, I don't know. I definitely think that, shots were fired, and I think the young OG, he took that 1-0. He took that 1-0. So yeah, but lastly, we're gonna end it off on this, guys. It's the WrestleMania season coming up, and we're gonna talk about the greatest WrestleMania matches. And you guys let me know in the comments below which WrestleMania match was your favorite. But yeah, man, that's gonna be it for the video, man. If you guys stayed this long to the video, comment below. I'm still here. Show some support. Thumbs up the video, share the video, comment below. Let me know what other videos you guys want to see me do in the future. And I've been your boy, Monday Night Heel, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.